Yes.
Ooh,
Oh,
the music stream stopped.
oh, uh, oh, Todd, Rhinoceros Rex. He goes, don't worry, Brad. You're my 40 key celebrity crush. I was gonna try to send you like a little click, response to it, but my options were to put you in timeout and some other stuff, and I was like, don't do that, Brad. Don't do it.
Put him in timeout.
I was gonna give you a timeout,
He
Brad
didn't he
Tech.
didn't he didn't super chat his crush.
All I'm saying, I'm keeping the fire up for a little bit. I'm gonna make Brandon full screen again, like we said in the last two, because that's the new mojo. But I'm feeling a little under the weather today, so this fire made me happy. It gave me joy.
I mean, the lights are off, so it's either you're feeling under the weather or in the mood. I don't know.
Can it be both?
Absolutely.
My mind's telling me no. But I needed the campfire today. I needed the campfire. Also, I don't even know how the little death or glory things in the corner, but I don't know. It makes me happy. It's hiding me a little bit, but is that YouTube doing that? Because I feel like that's not on my OBS.
That's a good question because it's not even a logo that people use. So maybe someone's been playing around with YouTube to fix stuff.
I don't know. It is me. Time means nothing. That is true. KR is right on top of that. Brandon needs to be bigger because he's so handsome and his nails are so well oiled. Brontosaurus Rex coming in with the $1.99 super chat. Let's be honest. I'm the call in this relationship. He has grim demeanor. It actually is perfect campfire weather outside. If you like rainy campsites.
I mean, I don't know what you're talking about, Bios. It's like 75 and sunny. And
Screw
now
you.
now it's, the time of the year where the sun is just golden all fucking day. So,
I want to
like,
gold you right upside your head.
hey, it's not my fault you live in the miserable Midwest.
Hey, I'll be in San Diego in a week and a half. I've never been to San Diego, weirdly. I've
And,
been
and why are you going to be in San Diego, Brad?
going to the California Cup to show Brandon that he's a fool because I'm
Uh,
bringing Marines.
I'm so ready to win this bet.
Also, it's so many games. It's a, six and then cutting to a top eight. So to win this, I have to win 9 games. Oh, it's so many.
With Space Marines.
Oh,
I still say by game 5 you're going to be questioning life in your decisions.
I did bring an army that just doesn't roll over anyone too. So like I literally might just be grinding out every game. So there's that. So tell me what you're working on today because you've literally told me multiple armies that you have to finish that are
and then and then I just got squirreled away. So
yeah.
I saw an interesting post on Facebook. So I'm a part of several Facebook hobby groups about making terrain and making bases and doing stuff with foam craft. And this one guy posted today that he made some scattered terrain over the past couple of days, and he made these custom pallets, and he wanted to do stuff for 40K. So I wanted to try and see if I could replicate it by looking at a couple of pictures, and I think I'm doing a pretty good job so far. I've been working on this for about 20 minutes before the stream started.
What are you making? Like, are you making a bridge for science class? What
No,
are you
it's
doing?
this is a pallet. So I'm gonna have scattered terrain on it, like these barrels and some boxes, and then I have these foam
Like a
cubes.
pallet? Like you need to have your forklift license around this? What are you doing?
Yes, yep. And then so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have filler, and then I'll cover it with the tarp and paint it up, so it looks like it's freshly dropped off and some nice scattered terrain uh, for a game table. Blocks. Just add some more character. That's what I'm looking for.
If you
Or
don't make an entire ruin that is literally like a loading dock after you do this, I wouldn't be mad, I'll just be disappointed.
See, Rhinoceros Rex says you question your life choices after every game 5. Is that accurate, Brad?
It is. Multiple games in, I'm just like, ugh. I can't even tell you how many times I've actually made a top cut. I just go, do I really want to do this?
Yeah, so I just wanted to make some pallets. So I'm doing it. I'm also recording a quick tutorial on how to make this because I think it's pretty interesting and you can add some character to your display boards or your game tables for a very little cost. I mean, this, in order to accomplish this, it only costed, what, $2 for wooden sticks on the or not even $2 for some coffee stir sticks. And why am I blurry all of a sudden, Brad?
I think you're blurry in real life.
That's super weird because I'm not blurry on my actual camera. I have no idea what's going on.
Who knows? Our restream's acting real weird right now.
Yeah, that might be
it's mad. It's mad that I put on an extra thing. It's like, look, we've accepted Sean into the fold. We already accepted Gentleman Gaming. Who is this stranger you're telling us to work with?
Well, thanks, Restream. I'm perfectly not blurry on the camera that I'm looking at, but on YouTube, absolutely blurry. Makes perfect sense.
There you go, KR. I feel the same thing about that. I can't tell you the amount of the calls I get that my phone goes probable telemarketer or some shit. You're just like, yeah, you're probably not going to get picked up on me.
See, Brad, all you need to do is you need to move to a new area. And then, because you move to a new area, you only get calls from where your phone's area code is associated. And then that's how you know it's spam, because why the hell would someone reach out to you if you keep moving around the country?
So I need to be a gypsy in witness protection like you are?
Yep. And then I know which calls are spam and which calls are not spam. I mean, this is the master plan.
I can get down with World Leaders for the tournament this weekend, though. They are aggressive, but they can be board control. Damn doctors calling before you've had coffee. Also, weirdly, I don't understand why. Well, this is probably why. I love that in the middle of the stream, Restream said, would you like to upgrade your plan? So apparently they're just going to slow my quality down until I upgrade my plan. Thanks for asking me mid-stream. Hey,
yeah,
what
good start.
What do you think about upgrading your plan, bro?
Sounds like a good idea. I'm going to have to wait till after the stream to do so.
Yeah, well, actually, that's what they say. My phone actually does say probable spam. Spam risk, actually, is what it says.
Well, anymore, it's like they're taking people's phone numbers and then they just use it. And then, like, if you were to call the number back, like, you pick up some innocent random grandmother's phone number. Like, why are you calling me?
I really want that email. I haven't got a really good email scam in a while. Or the Nigerian prince or anything.
I mean, you could look at some websites and I'm sure they'll pop up immediately.
What kind of websites are you going to that instantly give you scam emails?
NigerianPrinces.com, clearly.
How do you do the blocks between the two levels of skids? S.
So what I've done is I've taken a bunch of coffee stirring sticks, like so. Cut just the tip off because we don't want the rounded edges, and then I cut them in half. And then with 3 of them, I just glue 2 pieces on top of each other. So, as you can see here, hopefully. So 2 coffee sticks are just glued to each other, and then I'll sand it down and shave it, just make it more nice and neat. But it provides enough spread in between the 2 layers to actually look like a palette. And I was actually looking at palette reference pieces to see what would actually work. And they're pretty durable.
I can tell you what palettes look like.
Well, I worked at enough, office supply stores and received a whole bunch of shipments from the government before. Worked with pallet jacks before. It's fun.
Wow, Dorian. Years ago, they tried to get my company to send 300,000 US the construction equipment in Nigeria. It seems legit. You guys should have just sent it.
But did you do it? I mean, they really need construction equipment.
KR, he goes, I'm so happy that Brandon assumes that trees and wood will exist still in 40K. Where do they get the wood? Not Terra. However, they've got all those agro worlds that they can steal all the wood from.
They have plenty of trees.
So much
There's
wood.
there's unlimited planets theoretically. Why wouldn't they have trees and wood?
Here's my next question for you, and I don't know why it made me think of it. Maybe because it's in the woods. Fruit versus Ewoks. Who's winning this fight?
I mean, Kroot also have stealth abilities and know how to use technology and make booby traps. I think
Ewoks, all the booby traps, yo.
I think Kroot still win because they'll just eat the Ewok, right? And then they learn all their tricks.
Hmm. I'm doubting on this.
So that always brings up a good point. Plastic pallets are a real thing too. I mean, you could easily make this pallet plastic. If you just put a layer of Mod Podge on it, it'll seal the wood.
The
Not only
fuck is Mod Podge? Are you making up words?
I am not making up words.
That's not even a real thing.
It is a
Mod
real thing.
Podge?
Mod Podge.
What do you get? The Google snappers? Let's put some Buggle Snickers. Some Boople Noggers. Like, what?
Ready? Here, let me get some for you, Brad, so you can. I even have a large container of it too, just for you. I think the best part about it is the nice 70s logo or 60s logo. Like Brad probably invented this logo.
Man, did you draw that on there before you said this? Because that looks fake
Yes,
as hell.
Because I totally have the time to do this while you're.
I would have went all in on that is fake.
It's totally real. This is a real product. You can buy it at any craft store. You can buy it at Walmart. You can buy it off Amazon. And it's pretty cool because if you're working with pink insulation foam when making terrain, normally spray paints cause it to melt, which is a pretty interesting effect, but most of the time you don't want that. If you cover a Mod Podge, it causes it not to melt because there's a barrier preventing the aerosol from melting the styrofoam.
Man, all of you guys immediately knew what Mod Podge is. I fucking thought for sure that this was bullshit. Uh-oh.
So
Cruder's starting to run away with this.
I mean, Kroot are like 3 times the size of them. They can eat them. They will just punt them into another universe. There's zero chance Kroot don't beat Ewoks in a forest battle.
You know what? Fine. I'll accept the Kroot win.
So Dorian, so how you seal styrofoam, whether or not it's that white, beady foam, or if it's pink insulation foam, pink, blue, or green insulation foam, you just cover a Mod Podge. You can also use PVA glue. It just takes longer to dry. So you can use Elmer's glue to do it as well.
Man, I'm learning stuff every day. Mod Podge.
Brad, you can cover yourself in Mod Podge, and not only will it give you nice skin, but it'll make you water resistant.
Would I be invulnerable? I'm covering myself with Mod Podge right now.
No, just water resistant.
Never heard of it back in the day. We just used wood glue. That's what I kind of felt. I felt like this is wood glue, but with a funky name.
It's watered down. I mean, wood glue is just the difference between various types of glue is just consistency and water content.
Man, this is like science. You're like a Professor Proton.
Professor Proton. Is Duke Nukem going to come over here somewhere?
Probably using some Mod Podge.
Maybe.
I didn't even bring that up, but Dorian does bring up a good point. He goes, as your skin will no longer breathe, I'll die, but it'll look good right before I die. I was a good looking guy before he passed away. Brandon trying to kill me. Man, I thought this guy was my friend. He's just trying to send me to the netherworlds.
All I said is I'd make you water resistant. I never said I'd keep you alive for a very long period of time.
You just pour a lacquer over me afterwards.
I think you're fine because they did body painting with, in the movie Goldmember where they covered the actresses in like gold paint. Well, it probably wasn't paint. It was probably
died in the movie.
Not from skin being unable to breathe, but because of temperature, not being able to regulate body temperature.
Oh man, stop trying to kill the Bond girls. God, I can't take this guy anywhere.
Maybe you're a Bond girl. It would explain a lot.
Uh-oh. Eloise says that Mythbusters already demonstrated with a latex gold suit.
See, Eloise is dropping science and knowledge on you, Brad.
She is. I mean, again, this is like Professor Proton's house. Dude, we used to have, this is one of my favorites. So randomly, back in pizza days, we, you'd have the lunch rush and everything, and then we'd have the afternoon where you'd have to get shit ready after that. So prep, lunch, more prep. Well, during it, I'd always put on this wacky science dude. I can't even remember his name, but it was like a
Bill Nye the Science Guy,
no, it was like a dude that was like local. You know what I mean?
Gulari.
I don't remember. He's crazy. He looked like freaking Rick from Rick and Morty.
Yeah,
And,
that's Gulari.
okay, well
He's out of Parma, Ohio.
okay, he's nuts. Okay, one of my favorite things he ever did, and we still were cutting dough, and his experience. He was talking about temperatures and shit, and he literally had a thing of cold water, a thing of room temperature water, and a boiling hot pot, and he just jams his hands into it, and he goes hot, not hot, cold, and I'm like, man, that crazy psycho jam his hands into boiling hot water for no reason besides to show that there was differences in temperature. He was a wild man. Like, he's just crazy person all the time.
Maybe he has one of those nerve-based conditions where he doesn't actually feel the differences in temperature.
Oh, his face looked like he definitely felt it. Playmakers in the house. But yeah, man, like that dude was crazy. We watched him every day. Every day when I was doing dough, I would watch that psycho do different experiment things. And I didn't care at all about the experiment. I just knew that there was a good chance he would injure himself doing what he was doing.
Sounds like it.
Oh, he was fantastic.
I think you're talking about someone different than I'm talking about.
I don't know. That's what he looked like. He was on every afternoon in the weekdays.
Yeah, the person I was talking to was in the evenings.
Oh, I go with this on Eloise. Blowout food, eating ice cream or something spicy. The better part is when you literally go, oh God, I burnt my hand with this food. Better shove it in my face. That'll solve everything.
Eloise totally blows on the ice cream too.
Well, yeah, you gotta make it fucking something. Or spicy. Yeah, everybody knows that you can cut down on spicy food by just blowing on it. You blow the spice right off it.
Makes sense. You drank so much milk as a child that the capsaicin no longer impacts you. You can blow on the food.
Ah,
But yeah, I like the description. Brandon works on armies. Yeah, I'm not working on army right now.
well, you said you were gonna do army stuff. You literally have 2 armies right now that are both unfinished.
Yep.
Yeah, you said you're gonna bring to a tournament soon, very soon.
And I think the best part about it, I have Eloise. Eloise wanted me to paint up 15 bases for her Sisters of Battle because they're just doing gloriously in combat, and they're just sitting next to me. And then I have a couple more bases to do for my friend Justin and his Tau Army.
You know, I'm gonna combat this from KR. He's talking smack. Spicy in Ohio in Toledo is actually super legit because we have a lot of different communities that are pretty big in this area. So we have some real authentic spicy foods. That's a real thing. So here, other parts of Ohio, not so much. A lot of mayonnaise sandwiches going on. But in Toledo itself.
Brad, do you remember when we had dinner with Pete last year at the Michigan GT and he said pierogies were spicy?
No.
We were at the little slider bar in downtown Lansing, and he's like, "Oh, I can't eat this. This is too spicy." And I'm looking at him like, "It's a pierogi."
Oh, yes. No. I thought you were saying that I said. I was like, what?
No, it was Pete.
Yes.
And I'm like, "You're insane.
I'm
You're
like,
a crazy man."
He's like, that doesn't have spice in it, buddy.
Like, there's not even paprika on here. Like, it's just onion and then mashed potatoes and dough. That's it.
Also, yes, you can get all of that in Ohio. Weirdly enough, we have like a really big, and I love it. We have a big Mexican community here. We have a big Lebanese community here, which is my favorite food. Middle Eastern food is my like Mediterranean food. Laughably, hands down, my favorite. It's not even close. Love it. And we also have we have this Thai family that will burn your face off if you don't watch out. I made the mistake of asking for their hot, and I paid for it with my soul. Oh my god! I legitimately was like, I'm going to die in your restaurant.
But then you got used to it and you were okay.
Playmaker says that his best friend's family that he spends every Thanksgiving but thinks black pepper is spicy. I just don't go to their house. I'm not eating with somebody that thinks black pepper is spicy.
Don't come over our house. The flavor will kill them.
Oh,
Our house is mayonnaise free. It's too spicy in our house.
too spicy.
Yeah.
I like it, man. I love a lot of different foods. I've been traveling a lot and trying a lot of stuff. It's weird because I eat the same shit all the time because I food prep and stuff. But when I go places and I want to try everything, so I've tried so many weird dishes from all around the world.
Goulash isn't spicy at all. What?
I mean, you can make anything spicy.
Yeah, but naturally it's not. Just paprika, maybe a little bit of black pepper. That's it.
It's so say it's got what, salt, pepper, and paprika, and
That's it. And tomato.
getting hungry for Indian food now. I do like. I do like me some Indian food too.
I do not. And
It's certain things.
it's not because it's spicy.
I kind of like
It's because I don't like the coconut milk.
No, but I kind of like anything over rice, to be honest with you. Maybe I just like rice. So you could put almost any random thing over rice, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna eat this.
This is pretty good. Oh, we totally did not make mashed potatoes last night, by the way.
You guys are communists. Literal communists. What was on your agenda, comrade?
Comrade, not making mashed potatoes.
With pot roast?
Yeah, so we did a nice slow cooked pot roast.
Yeah.
Pretty good gravy that was based in Malbec, and put it over noodles.
Ugh, communists. Literally took a poll. The poll was unanimous. Said you would literally be in communist China if you if you ate anything but mashed potatoes and pot roast.
I mean, I already played Tao, so you know.
Yeah, the pot roast. Exactly. The poll was over, and he still didn't listen to it. This is this is bad. Eat noodles and play Tao. Now, I like where you went with that. I like things that happen here. Give me a second. I'm not gonna try not to die.
They were Amish egg noodles.
They were communist noodles, is what they were.
I don't think the Amish believe in communism. I
They-
could be wrong. I also don't think they believe in capitalism either.
Did the ghost of Anva bring you some noodles?
Maybe that'd be really cool.
Szechuan restaurant. Oh, yeah, there's like, man, you can't get what native people, you know what I mean? When they're used to that, that's the cuisine they made their whole life, man. They will literally melt your face off like you looked at the ark when they opened it. Don't open your eyes. That's what I thought was gonna happen to me the first time I was there, and I said to give them their hot. Oh,
So Eloise speaks Mandarin, and the one time she went to a restaurant, it was a Szechuan restaurant. Well, it was actually from Hong Kong, but they had Szechuan recipes, and they kept saying, "Oh, she wanted like a 10 on the 1 to 10 scale." So assumingly it's supposed to be hot. It wasn't. They toned it down because white people order stuff that's too
because
spicy for them.
white people. Because it's
Well,
people like me that said that, and then my
yeah.
face melted off.
Yeah, exactly. So they found out she knew how to speak Mandarin because she was cracking jokes and laughing at their jokes in Mandarin. And then she's like, "Can I actually have a 10 now?" And they finally gave it to her. And then they gave her extra. So apparently it was a 12 or 13 according to the owner of the restaurant. That was fantastic. It wasn't even that spicy. It was just fantastic. Amish are closer to commies than capitalists. They live in communes and gather all their wealth in one place. Okay.
You just added so much shit. So like, what's happening? I thought you were just making some crates with stuff. Now, is this
Well,
still
these are crates.
the same project? Man,
Yeah.
things just got crazy. I left you alone for like 2 seconds, and all of a sudden there's 600 more pieces on the board.
Yeah. Well, there's more crates. I'm making a whole. You want me to make an entire tray piece? That's a logistics
A loading
factory.
dock
Yeah.
piece.
Well, got it. Working on it now.
I think that sounds awesome. Here's the next thing. I've been talking about this for a while. I want Brandon to make me a display board. What kind of display board should I have Brandon make for me?
I mean, this is news to me, so I'm also very curious as to what kind of
Oh, I
display
haven't
board I
brought it
should
up
make.
to you yet. I've been thinking about it for a while though, because I think that I want to have you do one for me at LVO. Because I'm debating on whether I can get some really nice stuff done for myself. I obviously am not going to do it. Whoa, whoa, whoa! But I was thinking about having a pretty looking army with a branded display on it, and then just putting some mad advertisements for everybody that helped on the display.
I think it'd be cool. I just don't know how you get it there.
You ship it just straight to the hotel. Is my thing.
Well, so what RB do you want to play? Because that also determines the size of the display board.
Oh, we can't bring up stuff like that. We're talking about LVO. That's like 600 minutes
Yeah,
away or something.
I mean, you could play like decide that you want to play Imperial Guard Horde and have like 500, pieces of infantry on there.
A wine bottling plant, display board.
We actually do have. So one of the projects I want to work on at some point in time in the near
What?
future.
$400 to ship round trip. You got to be crazy talk. I'm gonna send that on snail mail.
I
Ruin
think it's
City.
still expensive. Anyways, so one of the projects I want to work on is Eloise printed me off this 3D print of a plastic chair, and I'm gonna have Uncle Bernie Crude completely dead after drinking a whole bunch of wine bottles and beer bottles,
Love it.
and just treat him as Enva.
Yeah, dude. Weekend at Bernie's all the way.
Yeah. So we have like 32 of these bottles.
Good question, KR. So what do we arm 10 Vanguard vets with? I'm sticking Shrike in there. Shields and melee, or pistols and melee are a mix.
Pistols.
It's just tough though because like I want Shrike to work so much, but like you can't target. He's a lone op. He makes his unit basically lone op shrouding. He can't target it within 12. But the problem is he wants to get up close with people. So you can start him on the board, which is nice, but those guys just don't do enough damage. So I'm just debating it. I mean,
I would just keep it cheap, like just attach him to a 5-man squad and just have it do objectives.
possibly on that. Yeah. And then at that point in time, I would just take shields and infernal pistols.
I don't know if you could take shields and pistols. I think it has to be a close combat weapon, pistol or shield.
Wow. Why can't I take goddamn options?
Because GW doesn't like options, Brad.
Well, that makes me angry. Oh, hell yeah. Playmaker coming in. You're driving to LVO? You're a wild man. I just want to point out the playmakers on the East Coast, or at least close enough.
He's not in the East Coast at all. He's in Kentucky. He's like in the middle of nowhere, Kentucky.
It's still east.
That's not East Coast.
It's east of the Mississippi. That's really like literally considered the coast. Just everything east of the Mississippi. Melee is dead. I can understand that. I hate flying. You're also 11 feet tall. I can literally fit in the in the overhead compartment.
That is an accurate statement. Brad can't. You are Sasquatch. I mean, like you're gigantic.
That picture
How
of me
how
where
how long of a road trip is?
it's got to be 2 days.
I don't know. It depends on how crazy these people are and who he's driving with.
Well,
Like
it's more than a day.
it's like
It's
22 hours, I think.
hold on. Let's find this out. Kentucky, what is it? Uh, where do you live in Kentucky? Give me a major city in Kentucky that you live by.
I think he's close to Evansville, Indiana.
That's not even close to Kentucky.
Yes, it is. It's the southernmost city in Indiana.
You're a crackhead. So Kentucky to Las Vegas. 29 hours. Fucking almost 2,000 miles. What the shizzle.
He's gonna need an oil change before he goes and after he comes back.
God, 1+6. I bet anyone can fit in the overhead compartment. It just might be in multiple parts. I think you might get arrested at that point in time.
I don't think they screen for dead body parts at the airport.
I mean, they should. They pull me aside for my dice. I feel they would definitely pull me aside for my dead body parts. Nice. Grand Rapids to Chattanooga. We do that. His old car.
That's not too bad.
Yeah, we have like hard. We unfortunately I made so many road trips.
Are there actually trains in Vegas? I don't think there are. I think it's literally in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, it's like what Matt was saying that they put you in a
Mm.
panel, man, because they didn't pay railroads all everything. There's nothing there. You're driving there. It's Vegas. Here, let me give you Nevada. Desert, Vegas, desert,
Oh,
California.
you have the nuclear waste monsters. Don't forget about those.
I didn't know I was playing Fallout.
Well, they're still there. I mean, I saw the hills have eyes. I'm pretty sure they happened like in one of the suburbs of Las Vegas.
Seems legit. Highest per capita churches. So much Jesus in one spot. Well, I got to figure out my turn, my board then. You give it to the playmaker, and well, what do I want it to look like? Is it going to be 2 steps? Oh, it's got to be 2 stages then. I definitely want a double. You know how you had the underground, not the underground, was it underground? You know, like where you had the 2 levels and then like the stuff was under and on top.
Yeah,
I need that.
you need that. Do we know what kind of car Mike is driving? Because that also takes a lot of space.
Yeah, he's driving a giant car. I have no idea.
Maybe Mike is like driving like a smart car. So,
Oh, so Mike's 7 foot tall ass is driving what, a Mini Cooper?
I don't know.
Uh,
This is the problem I always have with Adepticon, right? Like I would love to do like one of the crazy ass displays for Adepticon like that Alan does. I feel like I have the ability to know how to do it. The problem is getting it there because I don't live in Chicago.
I'm answering all the questions here.
All
One,
right.
Mike, renting a van. Awesome. Going to your first LVO in January. Can't wait. Convince my friends who don't play to go. Probably dropping the first day of the debauchery for us. Nothing wrong with that.
Is that
Just-
the way you're supposed to do it?
Exactly. Just watching Al's latest video, you said play your army strengths. What style list should I look for in Death Guard? I really like having a ton of bros with that list. I like fetid bloat drones, at least 2 because they can zoom up the board. You want 2 units of cultists because they can scout. You want to get enough people to get close enough to spread your contagions early, and then just take the board. I like double cultist, double poxwalker. I really like plague marines right now. I think they're at a great point cost. And then I'm either going to take a big unit of blights or a big unit of death shrouds, maybe 2. Go like a 6-3 if I'm doing death shrouds. They are really nice. They've got a shit ton of attacks. They're really durable. Morty's fantastic right now. He's probably the most economic Primarch for what he does, because he's got sick rules. Because he can ignore modifiers and stuff, and then you're going to take 3 PVCs to basically just hold backfield and just bomb people, and then mix and match after that. But like the strength of that army is board control, spread those contagions, making people -1 ballistic skill, -1 weapon skill, and or if you're playing a mission where you know you're going to be in scrums right away, making people -1 save if you're playing Marines and stuff. Both of those are fantastic, and you don't have to choose them until the game itself. You get to change them each time. I actually think the Death Guard's in a really good place. It's not the end all be all. It's not a top tier army, but it's definitely a competitive army. It's scary for a lot of armies, and you can really spread those out. I think that it can make it look sick too. Of course, I'm used to looking at Man Air and stuff, so maybe I'm a little biased on what a Death Guard army looks like.
I think he has a very one-of-a-kind, unique Death Guard army that not everyone's Death Guard looks like.
So I'm debating on Cameron for that. He goes, is Brad gonna have a cohesive army or Bomberhammer? I'm debating on going to Vegas with a real army. Chat hour with a $5 super chat. Iron within, iron without. Thoughts on Chaos Vindicators? Thinking 2 with 3 Forge Fiends. I don't know how I feel about Vindicators. They still have, what's their cost real quick?
I think they're down to $1.95.
The Vindicators, I don't think they're that expensive, are they?
They were 210.
So let's look. Getting the app out. Reference. Do I already have a Chaos army? I have 7,000 armies up. I should probably make better versions of this. as I continually look through my lists, and I have Brandon's Ultras, Kung Fu Master, ATC Anxiety. Bad Rup got his groove back.
I think it's time to clear out some of these lists.
No way, man. All right, Vindicator is... is it called a Chaos Vindicator? It's stupid. 190. I think that's too expensive. The Forge Fiends are amazing. At the time I'm going to take a Vindicator.
What does the Vindicator do? Because I've seen a lot of talk in like the Dark Angel chats as well about a Vindicator, and I'm like, it's just so damn expensive. I can't justify spending close to 200 points on a single tank with a couple shots.
Yeah, I mean, the Demolisher Cannon doesn't fuck around. It's strength 14, AP 3, D6 damage, D6 plus 3 shots, it's blast. I do think it's too expensive, though, in my opinion. I would just take more of everything else, to be honest with you. Plus, man, you got to take a Hellbreed or 2 in there to, give those both pack benefits. I really like the 3 Forge Fiends if I was doing, like, Iron Warrior style. But I don't know, the Vindicator just feels really expensive still for $1.90. I'm also like super cheap, so like that's tough for me. They can shoot blast into melee.
How often is the Vindicator getting into melee? Like, what's its strength in combat? Like, is it a good tank shock platform? Can it do some shenanigans with that?
I mean, it's weirdly T11. I wish it was T12. I'd actually be a little bit more on board with it if it was T11 or T12. T12 is like the breaking point because that's when you get the all Bright Lances and Last Cannons and shit are all T12 or Strength 12. So you can make people main wound on a 4. It does have a 2-up save, which is fairly legit. It bugs me a little bit because it's only 9 movement. And I kind of want to rush this thing up and just be all crazy with it because the Demolisher Cannon's only 24 inches.
I mean, if it was Space Marines, you could advance and shoot it, but...
I wish it was just slightly cheaper. I mean, it doesn't fuck around. I mean, like, literally, D6 plus 3, strength 14 shots that have blast on them isn't... I mean, it's legit. I just don't know if it's legit for $1.90. The vehicle itself is badass. It's just the price point on it. I kind of wish it was cheaper. I've got Vindicators at Sniggs' house somewhere. They're Space Wolf painted. Plague Brain Spam can work with a lot of rhinos and DG, but the problem is that they want basically a mixed arms force. So I think for me, that's the best point. You could just literally spam models though, because you could take like three cultists, three poxwalkers, and just a billion plague marines, and it wouldn't be a bad army.
Is the Vindicator heavy?
I don't. Hold on. Siege to no, it is not. So it's always hit on threes.
I agree with Brad. I just think it's too expensive.
It's got a good profile. It's really expensive.
So since we should probably talk about Space Marines. So I actually played my first game against the new Space Marine Codex this weekend. The gentleman was using a Imperial Fist colored Vanguard detachment, and he had 10 Terminators with Lysander and a Ancient.
Give me 1 second. I do want to read one of the comments here because it 100% encompasses me. Playmaker goes, if the unit costs more than 310, Brad runs away and hides from the unit. So 190 has this fighter flight starting to flutter. Continue.
But even though the game did not go in his favor because I was playing Tau and I just outmaneuvered him, successfully placed terrain better than he did, and just had a better army composition. Like the -1 to hit from stealth and always being in covers, pretty gross.
Yeah, the Vanguard feels good. That's why I'm gonna bring it.
I just don't know if you have enough stuff. Like he was telling me how expensive everything was, and I'm like, man, you just don't have that much stuff.
So what I'm gonna bring, I think, because I gotta submit my list on Friday. So I'm gonna bring a Deathwing Command Squad, 5 dudes plus a Terminator Ancient. Gives me OC 18. I'm gonna bring Lieutenant, who basically pulls the sword from the stone and becomes the king of all things. Lieutenant with Combat Bolter, and then an Infiltrator Squad with the Librarian with Phobos armor for shenanigans, so I can zoom up, run back, jump off board. 3 units of Inceptors, 336. I still haven't decided whether I'm going to take the 6-1 as Plasma or Bolter. The 2-3s will definitely be Bolter. 2 units of Scouts to dick around Scout stuff. A unit of Scent Devs, because the las cannons make me happy because they're twin linked. 2 Ballistas Dreadnoughts and 2 Gladiator Lancers. That's a decent amount of things. Maybe even of stuff. Hope you do come down to North Carolina in the 11th. He needs to see people.
That's for the tournament. That's the same weekend as
the Death Rumble on the River.
Yes. Which I haven't checked recently. Have they actually sold more tickets now?
I have not checked.
Because last time I checked, it was like 40.
See, the thing with the Plasma, the 3-man, it just doesn't give me enough shots. So here's my thoughts on this. I always take my 3-mans as bolters because I'm not trying to shoot down real shit. I'm trying to kill 10 cultists, 10 jackals, the lone operator by himself. And yep. I need the volume of shots plus the double exploding 6s to be able to kill the entire unit. And I don't get that with Plasma. The reason I'm even thinking about him is that
Arbor of Contempt is a real deal.
Yeah, is that sometimes I need to put down some stuff, and the extra AP more than anything is what I'm looking for in the Plasma if I take the 6-man with them. And I'm still not completely sold, but with the Vanguard, and I also know what terrain I'm going to, which I know that each table has at least 2 6-inch tall ruins. So I can do Plunging Fire plus the strat to give me AP 5 on the Plasma.
So, rules question for you. So they get Plunging Fire if their base is physically 6 inches above the opponent's base. What if would they be out of coherency? Or sorry, not would they be out of engagement range if they're up there?
What do you mean?
So you count as being engagement range if you're 1 inch away or 5 inches vertically. Would they be out of engagement range? Is that from base to base, or is it from model height to the bottom of your base?
It still wouldn't matter because you still can't deep strike. All deep strikes and reserves are handed horizontally.
Yeah. Okay.
So you have it doesn't matter if you were 700 inches up, you would still have to be
3 inches away.
Exactly. The correct horizontal distance away. So, but yes, old rules, yes, you would be out of engagement. And yes, if they move towards you, you'd still be out of engagement because they're not in engagement with unless it's 5 inches.
Ellie's wants to know if Rumble on the Rivers is giving away a GW golden ticket. I don't believe they are.
Brand's calling me for that too. Yes, Matt. Do you think the game has passed player place terrain by? It feels kind of awful to play on. Yes. Only it's really very few tournaments now.
All the
And
Frontline
this-
Gaming ones, though. No.
I was just about to say it's just the West Coast because of Frontline Gaming. Frontline Gaming does player placed, so that like a lot of the West Coast does player placed because they're influenced by what's going on with the Frontline. But everyone else is using static. I also just my thing about player placed terrain is it's one more thing that you have to do that isn't playing the game. So, and I'm pretty decent. I mean, I've been pretty good at player placed terrain because I didn't do it a lot. But it's a thing where everybody there's a discrepancy. We can talk about that all day long. It's just it takes time. You know what I mean? And I would rather just have more time in my game.
I mean, in Eastern Tennessee, a lot of the events do player place train as well. So we actually, Eloise and I played on player place terrain this past weekend, and even though that store only does player place terrain along with several of the other stores in the area, a lot of people still don't have practice with it. And in that Imperial Fist game, like I just showed how bad it could be if you don't know how to do player place terrain. And with the maneuverability I had in my Taulis, I was just able to outflank him and take his brick of 10 Terminators and make sure they did absolutely nothing worthwhile all game.
Fair place terrain in Kentucky too. You guys are wild on that. I didn't know that.
I think a lot of stores just don't have the motivation to get the train done.
I can see that. I thought that Texas went to fixed terrain. Canada's still doing player place. You guys have a lot of special rules for it though. So I like the Canadian player place terrain because you weren't allowed to do. They had a middle piece, like the California Cup I'm going to run by the XPC guys has player place terrain, but they also have a fixed mid piece.
The fixed mid piece does help a lot of shenanigans. Is it like what Jason did?
Kind of, yeah. The same type of thing. Yeah, most of the West. I mean, basically anything. I guess Colorado out. That's where KR is on that. I didn't know that. Like you guys down there were running it. To be honest with you, Grand Rapids is almost exclusive to GW. Yeah, like a lot of this. Like I said, east of the Mississippi, I thought was almost exclusively.
I mean, I also don't like GW only because it feels pretty lame playing on the same table 17 times in a row. It's not really fun.
You can have different sets though. I'd rather have that. I would rather have set terrain that's just different sets per per table, length or whatever. I wouldn't mind that, to be honest with you. There's like mix in Texas. Depends on event. Some even mix the types per mission. I don't hate that. Yeah, player place terrain it's weird too because a lot of people just aren't used to it at all. If you're playing the East Coast a lot, you're just never seeing that. Yeah, I mean the long distance shooting armies get so much better on player place terrain. You can just set up dead zones. Just go, hey, you want to walk through this 24 inches of absolutely nothing? Well, welcome to Nowhereville, population U. Here's that, especially now that forests aren't -1, there's no dense terrain anymore. You're just like, yep, I'm slapping this forest down here. Enjoy walking through it.
Yes, we the local store still has forests, and if you read the mission packet, they're like, "Oh, it counts as being dense," and I'm like, "Dense doesn't exist anymore. You need to update this."
Yep. So ye old dense does a whole lot of nothing. Three Astreus. God damn it, fucking playmaker. I'm a big fan of the WT. I mean, WTC is basically fixed. You know what I mean? I prefer fixed terrain because it's just one, it's faster, and I can just plan for it. I mean, I guess I play. You can
Is WTC faster? Because yes, while it's fixed, you still have to do all the or all the measurements depending on what table you're playing on, depending on what round you're on. Because there's 8 different variations every
Well,
single.
it depends on whether the TOs are doing it or you're doing it. To be honest with you.
I mean,
let's be honest. I'm just gonna go get a drink while my opponent sets up the table. No one trusts me with a table.
That's what I did at WTC. I don't think I set up a table once.
No, I've never set up a table there. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna walk away now. I need an adult.
Well, half the time there were coaches her sole job was to just set up the table.
Yep.
And I'm like, if there's a slight variation, I don't care. It doesn't bother me one bit.
WTC has just some different options than that. I mean, I'm good with either, to be honest with you. I'll play GW, I'll play WTC. I mean, obviously I go to player place terrain events. I prefer set terrain. It's just easier. It just is. And you just also don't have that skill gap between people that know player place and people that don't. So I feel the game becomes a little more parity. That is my opinion. That's all I have to say about the war in Vietnam. So, I'm psyched up to go.
You're psyched up to go?
I'm psyched up to go to San Diego. I haven't been to San Diego. I've been weirdly all over the West Coast, but I haven't been there.
Now, are you actually taking time for yourself, or are you just going for the tournament, coming back immediately?
Oh, coming back immediately. I have no money. I wasn't even going to go. Those guys are basically hosting me like a hobo that I am, and giving me a solid. I'm sleeping in a shoebox, and I'm stealing food. Any food left out is mine. Like, don't leave your sandwich alone by itself too long. That's Brad's sandwich now. CSM getting nerfed before January? I don't think so. It's a very, very strong army, but it's beatable. I don't think it feels oppressive. It's just really strong. I definitely think it's an S tier army.
Didn't you guys talk about CSM and what the meta is looking like after everything came out yesterday? Doing your meta.
Yep.
Or
the thing is
deal with it Tuesday. That's what it is.
I'm actually worried a little bit because I haven't had enough CSM practice, and the West Coast is wildly CSM.
You'll be all right.
Yeah, you'll be all right.
They're Marines. I mean, Marines only do so much.
I feel like you are going to get ruined by CSM because you just said that. You're like, yeah, they're all what they are.
I don't know. I played against Sean and beat him.
What did he bring, though?
I don't even remember. 10 Terminators, Abaddon.
All right. You already lost me at 10 Terminators.
This does seem like a Terminator edition, though. I feel like everyone is super excited about Terminators this edition, and I'm not entirely sure why. Terminators are still bad. Like,
yeah. Everybody tells me that. I keep saying that because I've been to LA like 50 times because I have friends in that. So I've just visited there 100 times and just randomly haven't been to San Diego. Do you think that Forge Fiends need to be touched in points? Possibly, to be honest with you, but I think that that's not going to come until we get the data slate, the next data slate. I don't think that they're so. They probably will, but I don't think that they're so big that they have to touch them right now, or at least they think they have to touch them right now. So, Tau CSM matchup should be wild. Just bits of power armor, crisis suit armor everywhere. Yeah, those two armies put out like a bonkers amount of damage, to be honest with you. Just a bonkers amount of damage. I don't know about that. I'm really wondering if they're going to do the data slate right before LVO or right after. Because if they're going to do it right before, they have to put it out the beginning of January, the end of December. And they've done that differently each time for the last few years, to be honest with you.
well, this past LVO, they had it with plenty of time to be adopted, and then they just said, "Nah, fam, we're just not going to do it." And
Yeah, but the year before we accepted everything, like two
I
weeks in front.
I think he should accept everything. I know we were talking about this last year at this time, but
Same. I'm just
I
saying.
was
Like
quite disappointed in the fact that they didn't.
last year we didn't accept anything, and the 2 years before that we accepted everything. That was when Custodes came out, and you know what I mean. We were using everything new, but I like that better. I think that for me, I love LVO being the first big event of the year, just using it as the wild wild west. You know what I mean? Accepting every new thing. I think it's awesome. It sets the year off in a new meta effectively, and you rock and roll from there. Yeah, that is true. You guys, you actual painter people. I don't want to paint a bunch of stuff in Hypercrunch, but I do like new. I just like having new stuff. To be honest with you, I'm a child. My attention span doesn't go too long, so like I really enjoy having to try to solve the new meta at the last minute. It's fun, or at least I think it's fun. It's
Well,
fun for me.
it does give an advantage to people who have early access to the codexes. I will say that.
True story, but I don't. So
I know you don't, but there's a lot of
I'll give you
complaint about
that.
that.
Yes, I agree 100%. We've had some obviously things where people said they didn't and they showed that they did, but I don't know. I still think it's fun. Yes, it's unfair that certain people have access to stuff, but I still enjoy having new stuff and trying to figure out the new problems. Yeah, last ride of Jakari ACO was pretty good. They had to talk me into bringing them at the time. So, and the thing is I agree, Austin. List building is one of my favorite parts of the hobby. So I want the new shit. I want the new stuff. I want to be able to make things happen. You know what I mean? So it's all of the good things all of the time. I mean, yes. Competitive players having early access is jacked.
I think the issue is they don't even own it. Like they totally do because they're releasing content day of, and then they're saying, "Oh, we don't have any input on these rules." Yeah, get out of here. You totally do.
I mean, yes, but it's just one of those things where people have an advantage. I still like having new stuff. So, and you care, yes, give me the FAQs for the rest of the stuff. It's a big deal. So, with that being said, promote yourself, my friend, and it's time to hit the dusty road.
Hit the dusty road. I just realized that my microphone's been on screen the entire time. I'm Brandon Valley with Still Frosty Gaming. I have a website, stillfrostygaming.com. I'm also on all the social media of Still Frosty Gaming. And if you're interested in some battle reports, somehow I've convinced Mr. Sean Rice with Dice with Rice to come over my house on a somewhat regular basis for us to play various games. And tomorrow, I think we're going to be doing a player place train setup, and he's going to be using Thousand Suns, and I'm going to be playing some sort of new Space Marines. Haven't looked at the codex yet, so wish me luck on building a list tonight.
Still haven't looked at the codex. You're dead to me. You're just dead.
I told you, Tau is way more exciting to me right now than Space Marines.
Blah blah blah.
To finish off, I wanted to make some scatter pieces of terrain, so I made 4 pallets, and I'm going to start doing a video about how to make said pallets and how to just do some nice scatter pieces of terrain or potentially even a display board.
Love it. Matto coming with $5 super chat. Cheers. And
cheers, buddy.
Cheers to you, my friend. Everyone, thanks for hanging out with us. We will see you on the flip side. Queens Wave.